The views expressed on this program belong to writer and host Travis Cobb, not LSU, not the Manship School, not Tiger TV, just this guy pointing at you. So come at him, lawyers. This is The Update. Hello and welcome to The Update. I'm Travis Cobb. No, it isn't Throwback Thursday. We just wanted to show the old intro. All right. I've just returned from covering the Winter Olympics in Sochi. I'd have pictures, but NBC sued me for my selfies, and so now I only have 5 onion rings to show a Burger King Olympics logo. Of course, I got hungry, and also McDonald's sponsored a lot of the Olympics. The point being, I'm in America now. I'm in the South now. What did I miss?
First, it was a noose hung from the neck of a civil rights icon statue. Then, a day later, an African-American student was called the N-word and doused with alcohol from a moving car.
When I heard it, I kind of, popped my head up, and that's when he threw it. He just threw it out of a red cup. It was "You black n***."
Please, oh please, oh please, oh please don't be LSU.
Despite the incidents, the university's chancellor tells CNN the climate at Ole Miss is one of tolerance and acceptance.
Phew, that was a close one. For a white male like me, nothing is more horrible and embarrassing than being reminded you did horrible things to an entire group of people simply because of skin color. Something tells me those priorities aren't right. But really, let's look at this. What could have given away Ole Miss would be the center in time travel back to racial intolerance? Could it be the Rebels mascot, or maybe the state flag with the reference to the stars and bars in there? No, it's probably because they had to change their actual mascot from a Confederate-looking general to a black bear. Key on black bear. Sometimes the answer isn't as obvious as it actually is.
We do have systemic racism in our country. We have it in this state, and we have it in this university, much less so than in years past. But there's systemic racism everywhere in the world. I wish that it weren't so.
Why is it such a bigger deal here when it happens at Ole Miss?
Because this university was founded on the principles of upholding slavery.
Yeah, that makes way more sense than the black bear theory. It's so much harder to solve. Desecrating a statue with heavily racist motivations is the real-life equivalent of anonymously posting online, well, really racist stuff. It's cowardly, and it's meant for shock value. The problem is, to the rest of the country, racist acts in Mississippi aren't shocking. But let's not overlook this. It's allegedly 3 people, and while subtle racism in the form of lowered expectations is still very prevalent, overt racism, such as these acts at Ole Miss, are dropping.
I wouldn't say the good old boys thing is like completely gone. I mean, because it's not like these events have pretty much shown what's not said is sometimes still in people. But I believe it's not everybody. It's not an overwhelming majority.
You can always tell whenever you walk in the classrooms and it's like segregated. One side's white, one side's black. It's like that in every class.
Maybe some good can come from this. We can realize that we as a culture are not even close to solving the country's racial problems. It didn't end with the country's first black president, just like racism at Ole Miss didn't end with their first black student. By the way, the statue that was vandalized is of Ole Miss' first black student. The bravery shown by that man contrasts with the cowardice of these students' actions. Tell me, white supremacists, who really is the better person here? God, I hope white supremacists aren't watching this. But you should, audience, because missing the mark moves from Mississippi to Arizona, and a different discrimination. Stay tuned.
With Russia in the Olympics, I mean, hey, I'm not sure if Russia is actually any less progressive than Arizona now around gay rights, to be quite honest.
Welcome back. I just came back from Russia, and I can tell you, that comparison doesn't make sense. We're America, land of the free and the home of the gay. Oh God, their love for each other made me change the last word of our sacred national anthem. As an LSU student, I could never do that. Anyway, missing the mark is in Arizona because they're not treating gay people like, well, people.
This bill is about protecting people who want to freely live out their faith in business, and the government can't coerce them to violate their conscience as a condition of being in business.
Because if anyone needs protection, it's the businesses. I mean, if the government tells them that the way they are, their conscience, their way of life and love isn't acceptable, wait, Since when does the government care about businesses violating their conscience?
This is the same law that Congress passed in 1993 and was signed into law by Bill Clinton, supported by the ACLU. It's been passed by 26 other states.
Here's the thing about 1993 and right now in 2014. Times change. Many people who do have religious convictions accept gay people for who they are. We become more accepting of a culture as we learn about them. For example, I was a mere 1-year-old in 1993. I remember it like it was yesterday. President white-haired man was on the TV and saying stuff, so I took a nap until my parents would drive me to Sesame Street. Can't ever find the place now. It's pretty sad. Anyway, Arizona. People grow up, and society does too, and understand that there are people that live differently from us. Arizona. Don't stay in your terrible twos forever. First, the show me your papers bill for immigration. Now this.
It's a very controversial piece of legislation. We know that, and we know that it's failed in a lot of states across the country. I have not been in town currently. I've been reading about it on the internet, and I will make my decision sometime probably by next Friday, because I'll be, even if I do decide to sign it. But it's very controversial, so I've got to get my hands around it.
There's nothing more controversial than the government reaching around your civil rights just to protect people in business. Because legislating for the comfort of people in business instead of for comfort of people in their personal life isn't governing your people. It's the government picking winners and losers. To hide behind a religion and then enact legislation, completely forgetting that the United States separates church and state, and using all of that just to say another group of people is lower than you. Isn't that missing the mark? Coming up after the break, we are going to talk about the Ukraine. Crazy stuff. Stay tuned.
I'm not trying to leave the country. I'm not trying to resign. I'm not going to resign. I'm elected president. Majority of things which happen is vandalism.
Welcome back. Today I'm acting as substitute teacher. I'm just going to show a video. The situation in Ukraine is a bit too complicated for me to explain, so here you go.
Any normal weekend, the president relaxes here, just out of town. But not today. No one around. Is it game, set and match?
This is his personal residence, but there's no real signs of life here at all. Given that, you have to ask yourself exactly what ambitions Viktor Yanukovych still has on being the president of all of Ukraine.
Outside, they want answers about the dozens shot dead Thursday, demanding it's preserved as a crime scene. Drive back into town and the protesters' control grows. These were the only police we saw all day. This is where Yanukovych would have to come back to work. But the presidential office has new guards and a new controller. Meet Ostap Krivdik, the international secretary of the self-defense units, in the job a few hours.
Is he coming back?
Could you ask him, please, if he is going to come back? I don't know. I don't think he will.
Will you let him if he tries?
We will not.
Parliament has the power now, bolstered by the people around it. Inside, opposition leaders later voted to remove Yanukovych from office. However legal that actually is in this fast-changing democracy. The new speaker here takes his seat, a bandage on his face. He'll, for now, fulfill the president's legal role until elections in May. But they've disappointed the people with their deal-making, the crowds outside jeering opposition leaders last night.
After the reaction you had yesterday from the crowd on the stage, are you still confident that you can calm the protesters and make them go home?
Right now, escalation. I'm sorry.
They have a lot of work ahead of them. And a vacuum in central Kiev just now, with nobody really in charge.
The authority of the central government appears to have vanished, and it's been replaced by these men.
There's more than rubble to clean up, whatever becomes of Yanukovych. An entire economy to drag back into action, with billions of dollars in debt that need settling this year. Friday's peace deal seems almost distant now, overtaken by a new reality in Kiev, where they must hope this solidarity lasts. Nick Baton-Walsh, CNN, Kiev.
Travis, you lazy bum. Why aren't you talking about this instead of just showing video? Because I'm talking to a student at LSU from Ukraine later in the week. That's a web exclusive, and that means extra stuff from the update for you to follow. Hey, speaking of, remember to follow me on the Twitters at TTVUpdate or my personal account at TravisCobb5. They're on the screen for, well, they were. Now they're not. But anyway, you know. I'm Travis Cobb. Until next week, go update yourself.